Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 376. I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here with Loran Bolding. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored, and I can't wait to do this interview with you.
No, the honor is all mine. Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show, don't mind me, I forgot to move my chair. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them you can still amount to something. So never give up and prove people wrong. Hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 35 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. Freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. So I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard-hitting ones. You might as well get the easy ones out of the way. So the first one is, how was life growing up? And when you were in college, were you studying or the party animal?
Oh, wow. Well, growing up, I grew up in a military family. My dad is a retired major and has been for many, many years now, 13, going on 14 years now. And so growing up in a military family, we moved all over the United States. We never went international. We mainly stayed in the Southeast, but we ventured out into Colorado and New York and different areas like that. But we always settled in the South. Daddy loved the South. He was a native of Alabama. My mom was a native Texan, and she moved to Alabama, and that's how her and my dad met. And then my brother and I came from that product of the marriage. And I absolutely loved the military life. We moved around every year, it seemed like. Every school year we were moving, and that's probably where my love for people and developing friendships very quickly came, because I was kind of forced into that. And it now creating friendships and knowing people's personalities has really helped me edge forward into the entertainment industry with the networking and connecting from what has transpired in my childhood on to now. And in college, I switched my major 7 different times. I have a lot of education, but only a 2-year degree because of everything that I switched from. But I always knew from 9 years old that I was going to be an entertainer in some shape, form, or fashion. Now, I was not gifted with a voice for song, but I was gifted with the ability to act. And to actually physically become another person and to inspire audiences by telling that person's story. And that started at 9 years old. And at 9 years old, I told my mom that I watched American Werewolf in London. It was the first horror movie at 9 years old, and I snuck into it to see it with my dad. He was watching it, he was off of work, and he was on the couch, and I snuck in behind him where he didn't see me, and I kind of peeked over the couch and watched the whole movie. My dad, when he watches movies, he does not move. There's no bathroom breaks, there's no popcorn breaks, no drink breaks. He is there, and he's in the movie. So I stayed there the entire time. He didn't know I was there. And afterwards, my mom asked me, so how was your first horror movie experience? And I turned to her and I said, I will be a writer, a director, and an actress in horror movies when I grow up. That's exactly what I told Mom. And at the tender age of 28 years old, I'm 33 now, 27, 28, I started my transition from theater into TV and film, and that's where it started. And I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was like, hey, Mom, do you remember when I was 9 and what I said? And I literally spoke my life into existence at 9 to where I am now. And I am very, very happy. I do not see myself doing anything else but being a mother and a entertainment professional.
No, absolutely. What about...
And I was the party animal in college. I was. I'm not going to lie. If there was a party, I was actually a workout freak and a party animal.
What about, did you ever do any sports growing up?
I did. I was into volleyball, basketball, and softball. And actually in volleyball, my 9th grade year, it was every single one of my hits that pretty much won us the championship in my 9th grade year. So, and that was for a Christian school. And then I played, I'm 5'4", so this ought to tell you how tall people were in my high school at the time, my Christian school that I was going to. I was a center on my basketball team. I was one of the tallest women there. And then there was another girl named Jeannie, who I shall never forget because she was absolutely phenomenal. That was the other center. And we scored a lot. And I have a natural athletic ability. I work out to Insanity Max 30, and I do yoga now. After my kids were born, my body kind of went downhill. I allowed it. It was my decisions. I own up to those decisions, and now I'm getting my body back. So these are my new decisions. But I was very, very much into sports growing up.
Well, the one thing I do want to point out before I ask my next question is the 2 pictures behind you. Is that the picture of you and your family?
Yes, actually it is. So this is actually a very old picture of when my son was just born. That's my son, Sean. He was just born, so he's 4 now. So he was maybe 6 months here, so you can see how much I've changed with my hair growing and everything. That's my husband, Joshua. And then that's my angel, Michelle. She's 7 now.
Yeah, she looks just like you.
Oh, thank you. And then, I hope I hang that. And my son is learning his colors. We're homeschooling him for pre-K because everything here in the Raleigh-Nightdale area, if you're not, we have more than enough to pay for my son to go to preschool or pre-K before he goes into kindergarten, but I still have the ability to teach him being a stay-at-home mom. And so we're teaching him colors and his numbers and everything, and this was his first color, and he picked out red, and on the back there's a green box that he colored green, so he knows his colors and everything without his sissy's help, which was wonderful. When he brought it to me, he was just the most ecstatic, excited little boy I ever saw, and we just threw this huge kerfuffle and threw him on the bed and just had tickle fights after he made me this, and then I hung it up. It was. You'll never forget your child's first real life experience of excitement when they've done something right, and he did it all by himself. He's a brilliant little boy, and Michelle is extremely bright. She was last year, she won the WIG Award, and what the WIG Award is, there's only 3 people in the entire first grade that won it, and it's for the children who have progressed above and beyond the reading standards of the school she's at. And she progressed 5 reading levels when most of the kids progressed 1 or 2 or 3. She progressed 5, and her math progressed 7 levels. So I have 2 amazing, brilliant kids.
You know, it just reminded me of something about following directions about colors. I remember when I was his age, for some reason, I like walking to the beat of my own drum. So we're supposed to color the duck yellow. If for whatever the reason was, I decided to make it green. So I remember my teacher ripping into me. It's like, she called my parents. It's like, your son doesn't follow directions. Everyone in the class is supposed to make it yellow, and your son made it green. Have you ever seen a green duck? And I was like, I like green.
I like green. I wanted to make a green duck. You said color the duck, I colored the duck. What more do you want?
Yeah, and the people that's like stupid back then. It's kind of like, why can't he just be different? And so I guess that was the first time where I realized I was going to be different. It was either green and blue. It was one of them. I don't know. I like green. I like blue.
It's your artistic expression, and that's perfectly okay. Well, to us, it's okay. But, I I totally understand.
Now, my next easy question I was going to ask for you is, have you ever done a human pyramid?
A human pyramid, like in gymnastics?
A lot of people refer to that, but yes.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you say that because I was actually in gymnastics for 5 years when I was younger. So from about 6 to 11 or 12. And I was a year away from being in the Olympics. And then we moved from where my coach was. And we moved to a different state in a different area. And they wanted to place me in my age range. I was actually out in my previous training, and my coach vouched for me, but the woman just did not want to budge. So I was bored because they placed me in an area where I had tested out of previously, right. And my trainer wanted me in the Olympics because I was honestly that good. And honestly, if you have a question about regret, the regret for me biggest is not going into the Olympics with the gymnastics. That's my biggest regret. So from that day forward, when I, grew up and realized what my deepest regret was, I wanted to make sure I would never have that regret again. So everything I do now, I do wholeheartedly. And I never want to be in the entertainment industry and go, what if?
Well, do you think it would change anything? Do you think if you were a professional gymnast, you would still be an actor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Acting has always been my passion since I was 9. Directing, producing, screenwriting, and filmmaking just came around when I realized I had a knack for it. And so I've been developing those skills outside while doing acting. So I am very versatile in the acting industry. If there's something that I don't know, I research it.
Right.
It's amazing what you can find on YouTube and Google. And I'm also mentored by some of the best aspects and people of the entertainment industry. And if I have a question, I can always ask them. Now, it's up to them to say, hey, go research it yourself. And I'd be like, okay, darn. But, when if I don't know something, I research it. If I have questions, I research it. And I also teach myself. Everything in this industry. Yeah, I took filmmaking classes in college. Yeah, I definitely took acting classes, and I've been studying the psychological breakdowns of characters for 5 years. I had an amazing coach, and now that's what I'm doing. So I'm constantly educating myself. There is always something new in this entertainment industry to do and to study. And I study something new, whether it's a YouTube video, something about casting directors, whether I read from an auditioning book or an acting book. I research something every single night before I go to bed, even if it's just 5 minutes, because I always want to be a step ahead of an A-lister.
No, absolutely. You have to be 2 steps ahead if you really want something.
Absolutely. It's a passion. And when people have a passion for something, there's not going to be any excuses. They're going to go out and do what they want to do.
No, absolutely. Now I came up with the next subject because I'm a big fan of human pyramids. I'm going to actually, let me rephrase that. Like I said, I'm a loser. I love that stuff. So I came up with my own subject saying I'm going to ask you 3 hard-hitting questions. And I want your honest opinion. I like throwing curveballs. So the first one is, would you ever do one?
Would I ever do what?
Would you ever do a human pyramid?
Are you talking you're talking for gymnastics and stuff like that?
Oh, just for fun anyway, but yes.
Well, if the right flexible people were involved, yeah. I did, I was in cheerleading in the 9th grade as well. And we did several human pyramids, and I'm very strong in the upper body, so I'm able to lift the smaller girls. I was never the one in the middle or at the top of the pyramid. I was a very thick young lady. I was very athletic, so I was all muscle. I was cut when I was younger, so I was always the one at the bottom holding everybody up. But now in my older years, if I had some big, hunky, strong men helping, sure, why not?
I always love this stuff. And if you always want to help me out, maybe we can work something out.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there. My next question is, if you were doing the pyramid, would you do the side by side or would you do the stack?
So when we were in cheerleading, I would be the middle person to hold so there's 4 girls on the ground that are kneeling.
Yeah.
And then there'll be girls to step on top of them, and then the young lady is pretty much tossed by the men up onto the top of the pyramid, and I hold that second layer of girls' legs strong so that they don't. It's like an extra stand that they can stand on. So it kind of balances them out because, I mean, pyramids can be 1, 2, 3, 4 people deep, or it could be in competitive 6 people deep, and it's just with the bigger team that you have. Cheerleading is definitely a sport. I don't care what anybody has to say about that. It requires a lot of strength, a lot of gymnastics, a lot of discipline. And so I believe that's a lot of where my work ethic comes today, because of, the sports and always having the team environment. My production partner, Michelle Lewis, and I are always looking to expand our film family. We're always wanting that team effort, that I got your back no matter what is what we're trying to build. And if you think about it, you can revert it all back to what we learned in sports or in theater, because you have to work with people in order to be successful in any field that you're in. And this is a very interesting industry because you have those 5% of people that want to help you, that want to see you succeed, that will help you in any way possible. And then you have the 95% that are just out for themselves. Yeah. And that is a true aspect of this industry. And it's sad because Michelle and I both have come across that. And so we started L&M Productions to get away from that. We want people, the only way to not get screwed in this industry is to be open and honest and for people to know your hearts. And you have to give that first before they can give it to you, because naturally as a species, we don't trust. So if they see that we're open, we're honest, we love, this is our hearts, they're going to want to latch on to that because we're real and they see that. Now, we're humans and we make mistakes and family fight, but we come back together stronger. And L&M Productions' main motto is bringing a light to a dark industry, because this industry will chew people up and spit them out. And you will get hurt. Feelings will get hurt, and people get backstabbed, and people will step on other people to get what they want. And that's not what L&M Productions is. And we protect our film family. And we're not saying that we know everything. We are always going to be learning, but we want to help people in any way possible. And if there's something we don't know, we find out, and then we get those people what they want to know.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you about your company, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Oh, sweet! All right, great.
A message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre, buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
376. I'm your host, Keith Andrew. We're back from the commercial break with Loran Bolding, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with us.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to. I'm having fun.
Well, I'm glad you are. I rub people the wrong way. So some people just like say, "Oh, the interview is almost over yet." But my personality is that either I rub people the right way, it's like, "Oh, he's really great," or I rub people the wrong way, it's like, "I can't wait to get the hell away from this guy."
Oh, well, you know what? People are going to be people, and you can either see. My attitude is when I come across people and they get to know my heart, if they still don't really want to get to know me, well, that kind of sucks to be you, because I'm a freaking awesome person. And I'm not saying that in an egotistical way, but with me personally, how I think, believe, and love myself, I'm freaking awesome. And if you don't want to get to know me, that's your loss, not mine. Sayonara. But people that want to get to know you, that see your heart and see your potential and want to be around you, welcome them into your life. Those are the people that are going to stick around. Other people, well, sorry, you're going to be missing out on some awesome stuff.
No, absolutely. Now, my next question, I was going to pass over to you, is how did you start your own company? And you mentioned off the air that you only been around for a year, but how did all that come about?
Okay, well, Michelle Lewis has had auditioned for the role of Annalise in my movie A Deadly Affair to Remember, in my short. And that's how we met. When I went to do the callback Skype audition with her, she blew me out of the water. She was Annalise, period. She was Annalise. She took direction. She was coachable. She gave me what I needed. And then there were two girls behind her. And I said, no, you know what? You got it. I'm not even going to bother with the other two. I'm a very decisive casting director. I know what I want. I see what I want. I get what I want. I don't lollygag around. There is no room for second guessing yourself in this industry. So especially when it comes to something as important as casting, and Michelle just brought it all. And so when we got on set, it was instantaneous. I swear you would have thought that we were friends since we were in elementary school. There was cackling and giggling and jokes, and everybody was comfortable. Everyone had a good time. And I already had Bolding Productions. So I had Bolding Productions as actor, director, producer, screenwriter, filmmaker. And she knew that because I was producing A Deadly Affair. And we latched onto each other, and our vision, getting to know each other through A Deadly Affair, our visions, our dreams, our goals, everything lined up. It was a complete sisterhood. And she was like, I have this amazing idea. And I was like, sure, go ahead. She's like, you already have your production company, but how cool would it be if Lauren and Michelle got together, combined their forces, and made a production company? I said, I'm down like a fat kid on some chocolate cake. Let's do it. And that's literally from a small thought into something so huge now. People, especially social media, is such an amazing tool if used properly. And Michelle and I, through trial and error, have started to use social media, all aspects of it, in a positive manner where we are able to get L&M Productions' name out there. And what's phenomenal is that it started out with just a thought of how we can bring people with us, because there is so much talent out there, Keith, that we've ran across. Clinton Harris, Kenneth Tolbert, Michael Anglin, Christina Strook, Zachary Ball. And I know I'm going to forget people, because when you're put on the spot, it just kind of, you forget people. But Joe Quintella and Terry Swaggart and just all of these other people, Amy Cott, who have, people that I'm coaching, Joanna Gifford and Gage Garcia and several others, Ashley Nichols. All of these people have latched on to Michelle and I through auditions. When we audition them, especially for like Beyond Dark and Redemption's Price, you meet so many phenomenal talents, and that Hollywood won't recognize because they're not Hollywood standard glorified people. But in the indie industry, to me, their talents and abilities are A-list quality. And I am blown away and humbled that these people have latched on to what Michelle and I have developed. And all from a small idea of, let's bring a light to a dark industry. Let's lift people up instead of tearing them down. Because people will tear you down in a heartbeat because of your success, because of what you're doing. But nobody ever looks in the background and sees what you've done from bottom up. They only see like, oh, this happened overnight. No, sir. This happened 5 years ago. And if you look back at everything Michelle and I have done this year, from every small little string that's attached, then I don't believe people would say, oh, that's just luck, or, oh, you're so lucky. And no, it was the hard work that Michelle and I did in the background that nobody saw. The sweat, the tears, the blood, the hurts, the pains, the staying up till 3 o'clock, helping each other, getting over betrayals and backstabbing and pulling ourselves back up. And we've experienced so much that Michelle and I now know what not to do and how not to treat people. And in doing so, I believe that that's going to develop a certain level of trust where more people will want to come on with us. And in the beginning, people thought that we were untouchable, which is far from the truth. We just protect each other. When we bring somebody onto our film family, there is a certain level of trust, character, integrity that we expect. You know, we're the head of L&M Productions, but there's so many people coming on with us that we treat everybody equally and like family. That's not a lie. But don't think you're going to get away with a lack of integrity or character or gossip or, you know, doing something that we are against and still be okay, and still with us be okay. That's not acceptable. And so people come, people go, people get hurt, things happen. And I mean, we've had people try and tear us apart in this past year. And it's sad to say, but, you know, it does happen. But, you know, Michelle and I are a very close bond. And she is my best friend. We call each other our hetero life mates. Because we're honestly that close. We're sisters. And every relationship that we have developed so far has been phenomenal. And I'm excited to see everybody's success. I am one of those freak actors, directors, producers, one of the rarities, as well as Michelle, that love lifting others up for their successes because they deserve it. They have so much talent and ability, and we're humbled that they would even want to be associated with us. And so we return the favor by uplifting, encouraging, and creating an environment that people want to be a part of. And I believe that that starts with developing that trust and bringing a light into a dark industry. And we're hard workers. Well, I mean, we are on the phone all the time. She and I are. So we are on the same page. So there's no indecisiveness between us two. If we don't agree on something, we don't do it. If we agree on something, then we do it. Plain and simple. So the people that are a part of our productions understand that we run our productions like a Hollywood production runs. We make production schedules. We make shot lists. We make sure the locations are taken care of. Everything that you would think that goes into a production, Michelle and I do. And it's all a learning process. We have learned from our failures. So, and I don't even want to say that they're failures, but mistakes. We've learned from our mistakes so that we don't become failures. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I think a lot of people also attach themselves to us because of our professionalism and because that we are so protective of our family. But we are always willing to bring new people on. And that's why we write so much and why we make so many movies. Even if it's a low budget indie film, we want to develop that family. And it starts with that. It starts with that trust.
No, absolutely. Now, before I pass the show over to you, the last two questions I want to ask you that you did bring up is, one, do you think I'm an A-lister? And number two, do you think I'm good enough to work with you based on what I do?
Oh, hell yeah. 100%. I am one of those people that believe in everybody. I believe that God has blessed everybody with a specific gift. And that specific gift, to me, to me personally, is in this industry. And if your passion keeps you awake at night, that is what you need to do. My passion keeps me awake at night, probably until about 3 o'clock sometimes. But, I'm a mom of 2 rambunctious children. I also am a stay-at-home mom, so I'm constantly doing something at home. So, but my passion still keeps me up at night, because that's our industry. Hollywood never sleeps.
Right.
And I honestly believe everybody is an A-lister in the making. Absolutely.
Hey, what's the last 5 minutes left of the show? Was there anything you wanted to promote? Anything you wanted to talk about? Axe, maybe this is your time.
Oh, yay! Well, anything I want to promote? Well, coming out, we're working on several features. Michelle and I, we're working on features and shorts. One of my really close friends, my best guy friend, Michael D. England, just finished writing, casting. We're in production mode right now for his feature called Consequences. And it is an amazing movie about the decisions that we make and the consequences that lie behind those decisions, whether they're good or bad. Every decision you make has a consequence. So I'm helping him with that. I'm his co-director. I'm his lead actress. I'm helping him produce it. We just finished with the shot list. He's working on getting the last few locations. But we have a phenomenal cast and crew that are with us that I am so excited. I've been meeting. We're not having a table read, so I've been meeting with the cast separately, getting to know them, letting them in on some secrets with the characters, getting into that development like you would do at a table read. And it's kind of nerve-wracking for me at first until we start talking, and then I get to know them, because I've heard so much about these actors and actresses and the crew members. It's kind of intimidating to me, and I don't want to say that I fangirl, but I kind of do. I have that glow about me, like, tell me about you. I want to know about you. How'd you grow up? That type of stuff. And then we have to get into the character development. But I'm very, very excited about Consequences, because I believe that it's going to apply to every human being on Earth. I believe that this movie has the tendency to be galactically epic. And the acting with Dusty Brown, Creek Wilson, a beautiful little girl named Hannah Altmont, me, William Harris, Denise Lambert, and several other people that are in the movie, being produced by Darnell Sheffield and John Armijo. This movie has so much talent and is going to go places. Just you wait and see. It's an amazing movie. I'm trying not to give it away. Just there is a spiritual aspect to it, but it's not an in-your-face religious type thing. It's not that at all. But there is, a metaphor of the good versus evil in your choices. And that Michael has woven that so methodically into his script that everybody read it in one sitting, because it was that stinking good. It's easy to follow. The character development is throughout the script, and just the climax of the movie itself is just, it's going to be a holy cow moment. It's going to leave the audience like on the edge of their seats guessing what happens next. There's new developments every along the way. Michelle has a Silence So Loud, which is based on The Quiet Room from in I believe Minnesota, somewhere out in the Midwest. But she has a phenomenal psychological thriller based around that. I created the psychological thriller The Jacob's File, which is about 2 friends whose sordid past kind of comes to haunt them after the death of one of their patients that they both were involved in. And they end up in a very sticky, dark situation. And we're filming that. I'm going to be getting everybody's schedules, but we have everything for it. So we have the money, we have the location. It's in it's in Louisiana. And I think we need to work out where everybody's going to stay. Me, Michelle, James, and Tony. We need because everybody else is local, so they can just go back home. But that's going to be a 4-day shoot, and we're trying to figure out where we're going from here. I'm also co-executive producer of a $6 million project called The Sweetest Thing. that will be filming fall, winter time frame. We will be having a producer's phone call within the next few days to lock down times and stuff like that. It's shooting out in LA. Clinton Harris, Kenneth Tolbert, and Michelle Lewis, and Robert Lombardi, I believe Tyler Gallant, a lot of people that we have grown to know and develop relationships with, or are just developing a relationship with. Joe Quintella's on board. It's Terry Swaggard's movie. She wrote it. She's the creator. And she is an extremely passionate woman. I absolutely fell in love with her the moment I talked to her. So we'll be shooting that. It's called The Sweetest Revenge. Be on the lookout for that, because that is a mafia movie it's as epic as Reservoir Dogs and Casino. It rivals those movies, and it is an amazing crime movie. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I'm very excited to be on that production. And also we have my own production coming up in January, February called Redemption's Price. And Redemption's Price is a vampire horror movie with a little bit of romance drawn in there, not too much. It has nothing to do with Twilight. This movie is getting back to the manipulative, evil, disgusting nature of vampires.
Right.
And if you think you know the history and origins of vampires, I have rewritten those. So it's going to be very exciting to bring that to screen. And that's about it. Is there anything else?
That was our timer. Now, before I let you go, I do have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
I do have a couple questions off the air. But when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after doing the interview, how do you feel now?
I was extremely humbled and honored. I apologize for it taking so long to get back to you, but I was on so many producer calls. I just didn't have time to focus. I like to give people my undivided attention. So when I saw your message, I was completely floored. I am always humbled and excited for people who want to hear our stories, because it's, number one, free promotion of, me and the company and Michelle and everybody involved. It's also good promotion for you. You have an amazing platform that you're using to pretty much skyrocket and introduce other people in their careers, which in turn benefits you. So this is a selfless act of love. And anytime I hear something like that, I latch onto it. I don't believe you have a learning disability. I believe that this is the area where you belong in. You have the ability to be a multi-million-dollar budgeted TV show. You're starting, now in your room with indie actors and honoring them with, bringing them onto your show. And to us, there is no room for egos, and I don't believe you have one. I believe you're humbled, you're sweet, you're encouraging. I honestly see you going far. The only thing that will keep you from going far is your own mind.
Yeah.
Doubts. And if you don't have those doubts, if you know and understand that this is your passion, this is where you're going, nobody can stop you, not even yourself.
Yeah,
I was very excited. And now that I've been on your show, you are incredible. I love the fact that you allow the people to talk until they're done. You don't interrupt them. You don't overwhelm them with questions. You're very laid back. You're very observant. And that I wish a lot more talk show people would do that. So I'm very humbled, excited, and honored that you asked, and I would promote you to anybody.
No, I appreciate it. I do have a couple questions off the air, but my last one is, are you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Stage 32, Instagram?
Well, I will go ahead and tell you I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. I am no longer on LinkedIn or any of those other websites. One of those sites I've never heard of before, but the platform that has worked best for me has been Facebook and Instagram, and I'm on Twitter a little bit. My Twitter account is Loran Har, at LORANHAR. And then my Twitter account is my first and last name together. So Loran Bolding, LORAN BOLDING. And then you can find me on Facebook as Loran Bolding. I'm normally the first one that pops up because of my name spelling. And then my actor's page is Actress L. Bolding.
Well, I do have a couple questions, so stay tuned. About wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest on the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Thank you. Me too.